Welcome back to RotoGrinders. Of course, this is the morning grind. Of course, I'm not Stevie. I'm Dean. I'm still filling in here for Stevie. Of course, Stevie is still knocking out his NASCAR content. If you guys want to hit that up, of course, you know where to find it here on RotoGrinders.com. I know previously we talked about some golf. We talked about some MMA. Today, we're going back to our DFS personality showcase. And I got to tell you, we're bringing somebody in who I don't know. I just learned of his existence. And part of that reason is because he, to my knowledge, is not on Twitter. We'll talk about it in a second. New hire here at RotoGrinders. Let's get to know Keith Eyster. What's going on, Keith?
Not much. How are you doing, Dean?
I'm doing well. And I have some, we'll talk about Twitter. And I don't know where this is going to go because I mean, I don't mean this being insulting. I know nothing about you. I'm going to learn about you with the audience because I like to do research. I like to prepare for these interviews, and a lot of times it's people that I know, and I kind of like just kind of stories I can kind of needle out of them and get more details. Or I go on their Twitter and I'll find a variety of topics to kind of hit on. And I could not find your Twitter. Are you Twitter dark? Have you never been? I think you just have one as of this week, and I don't believe have you broke your Twitter cherry? Have you tweeted just yet or no?
So I have been on Twitter previously, but I've never tweeted. I had an account, and I used it for informational purposes only. Obviously, in the DFS space, I follow everybody on Twitter, find tons of information on Twitter. Have never tweeted or been active on Twitter.
Fair enough. All right. Well, we'll talk about that soon enough. We're going to table that in a second. But let's tell the people, why are you working at RotoGrinders? Let's hit up your current resume. As of right now, your screen name is Eys819. That's EYS. I assume that's a play off your last name. Your overall RotoGrinders ranking, you're currently 56th out of over 47,000 people. You're fourth in the middleweight ranking division. That's basically what your average buy-in happens to be. For this month, you are fourth out of over 3,000 people. You're crushing the NASCAR streets. You're crushing the MMA streets and the KBO as well, too. I was pulling up your RG rankings and your recent activity. You're loving it. All these fringe sports, as far as I can tell, you keep firing away at NASCAR and MMA, and you're up. I don't know if you're up late, if you're up early as far as KBO, but I guess you're enjoying DFS right now.
Just trying to get in as much action as I can. Obviously, with the big sports down, got to take what you can find. I found a lot of success at KBO and NASCAR and MMA. Really enjoying it.
Do you consider yourself an expert in those sports, or you're using content, you're using spreadsheets, and you're just kind of putting stuff together and building lineups that way?
I knew the KBO existed, but I had never seen a game, or I couldn't even have told you a team name before this year. NASCAR I've actually been playing for about 3 years. Follow Stevie stuff all the time. He's excellent. So all my success to him. And MMA, I just found Brett BB Bomb. He's phenomenal, and he's really helped me as I've started to delve into it.
You're on the RotoGrinders brand, man. You're shouting out all the RG guys. Nobody prompted you to say that, to my knowledge.
They did not. That's the truth. That's where I find my information.
Yeah. Are you staying up late with your KBO lineups, or you're waking up early, or you're kind of just waking up for an hour and going back to sleep? How's that working as far as building lineups? I guess I should ask, where are you at? Where are you currently located as far as what time zone?
Currently in Norman, Oklahoma, so Central Time Zone.
Okay, so it's 4:30 in the morning typically, 3:30 in the morning typically.
4:30, yep.
So how's this working out? How are we making our KBO lineups?
I'm very much a night owl, so I just stay up and power through. And then sometimes I stay up and sweat the games. Not usually. I mean, I'll watch the first couple innings and then usually taper off. But it's nice to wake up to those screenshots sometimes around noon or whenever I crawl out of bed.
I'm scrolling through right now. What's your biggest KBO win? Have you taken one down just yet as far as
I did take down the big DK. I believe it was the third day of the season.
Yeah.
That was a $25,000 win.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that's the 444 buy-in, or that's the standard 12 or what?
That was a standard 12.
Yeah. All right. Very good. Good times. And building lineups. Are you somebody that makes as far as your content, or as far as how you attack a slate? So are you somebody that makes 150? Are you somebody that makes 5 or 10 and you hand build them, that kind of thing, or it depends upon the slate?
It depends upon the slate. With KBO, I'm generally making around 50 lineups. Just not a big enough prize pool to go 150 for me. So I generally taper it to the prize pool.
All right. So when I don't want to say real sports come back, that's kind of insulting to these other sports. But when like the main sports come back, do you know what you're going to be focusing on from a content perspective?
I believe that's still to be determined. I've had the most success in MLB and NFL to date, so I would consider those my two strongest sports.
Yeah, and hopefully MLB comes back because, well, hey, we're recording this Monday afternoon, and I believe this is going to go up on Friday. So maybe sometime between Monday and Friday. You want to make a bold prediction? Is baseball going to be back by the time that people hear this podcast?
Oh man, it's really ridiculous that they haven't come to an agreement yet.
Yeah.
I don't know that I have a prediction on either side right now. It seems easy, like they should just meet in the middle and let's play ball. It seems like the players are at 114 at 114 games at full prorated, and the owners are at 50 at full prorated. So let's just meet in the middle on that at full prorated and go play ball. I mean,
well, easier said than done, I suppose. That's how that works.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, there's a lot more going on behind the scenes, but
scrolling through your RG profile, well, let's ask this because I'm seeing like your biggest victories have been, it looks like, in the last couple of years, like the last 2 seasons. How long have you been playing DFS for?
Late 2016 was my first delve into it. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, is this? I'm trying to gauge how old you are. Oh, so people are hearing the podcast. You can be hearing it actually on the podcast feed, but we're actually throwing these up on YouTube as well. So, if they were to guess, I'm going to guess you're like, I think you're young. I'm going to say you're 25. Am I way off?
You're off.
30?
Keep going.
Am I getting warmer?
You're warmer. Yeah, I'm 34.
You're sneaky old like me.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was going to say like maybe you were dabbling in this in college or something like that, or grad school or something like that. But all right, 2016, you discovered DFS from the commercials. And I assume you came from, or you tell me, did you come from the season long world?
Yeah, I've played tons of season long fantasy. It was the commercials. I think that was about 2015 when the big commercial thing. I'm like, that looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
I was in the middle of a budding career at that point, and really didn't have the time or know exactly what it was to dive into it. After the whole lawsuit thing, the shutdown, I started reading a lot of articles on what it was, and just learning a lot about it. And I was like, man, I think I really missed something here. I could have done well in this. And then it started to come back a little bit. And as it did, I really paid attention to it and was like, okay, we're going to give this a shot. I read Dueling with Kings, the book, and that's what really just sold me on, this is absolutely something I would love. So in 2016, I started to dive in, and just my volume has just increased progressively since there.
Yeah, when you first hear about it, like you say, you're not really certain. Is this legal? Is this something that like people are just doing this? This is a fun idea, but I don't know. Like, what's the catch? It's like, nah,
right. Yeah, exactly.
So 2016, you said you're in the middle of a budding career. What was your budding career?
I was in hotels. So I got into hotels. I originally grew up in Illinois, Northern Illinois, about 100 miles west of Chicago. Attended Northern Illinois University, and I started out as a front desk clerk at a hotel part-time while in college. As soon as I got out of college, career really took off. I was in management within 6 months. Ended up moving from Illinois down to Dallas, Texas to become a general manager of a hotel. Won general manager of the year with my company in Dallas, and then took a job in Norman, Oklahoma, where I'm still at as an area manager for 3 different hotels.
Okay, so you're going to be doing both. You play DFS, and now you're going to be doing content as far as DFS, and you kept your job as far as working in hotels. Is there like this strange? You have any strange? What kind of weird things you see in a hotel? Can you give me like a wacky story or random occurrences? Maybe a strange request. What do you have for me?
Oh man, hotels is crazy. I actually am no longer in hotels, but
okay, I apologize.
That's all right. As far as a crazy story,
Anything sort
I
of
don't
come to
know.
mind? No, just
I don't have anything really off the top.
the day-to-day grind.
Yeah.
Oh, no worries. If you can't think of one, we're good. And now you're just full-time DFS player, or you're just doing something else?
Yeah. So after I moved to Norman, I really was, I was having success in hotels, but I wasn't passionate about it. And I was really starting to find my footing in DFS. So in about mid 2018, that's when I was starting to kind of move away from my hotel responsibilities and more into the DFS activities. Actually, around the beginning of 2018, mid 2018 is when I decided to kind of give that up and give the DFS thing a full time go, and have been doing it since then full time, and have found some good success here lately.
When you meet somebody and they ask you what you do, what's your answer?
That's always a tough conversation.
Where do you start? Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, most people have heard of DraftKings or FanDuel. I don't think that most people realize that it can be a career.
Yeah.
So I lead with that. Well, have you heard of DraftKings? And then it's like, well, that's what I do. And
Yeah.
they're like, wait, full time? Like, they don't realize.
So you gamble for a living?
Yeah,
like,
basically.
That's a response you get to. I've heard that one before as well. So 2016, how much were you just playing recreationally? You're just kind of having fun and just testing it out and seeing like what this is, and you've ramped up your volume since, obviously.
Yeah, correct. I didn't play baseball in 16. So football of 16, and even the back half of football in 16 is really when I got started. So I was playing $100, $200 on the weekend. I mean, I had no idea what I was doing. I was just getting into it.
Did you get crushed or get lucky?
I was having pretty good success right off the bat. I remember my first big hit for sure. Was Christmas Eve, 2016. I had a very low owned Aaron Rodgers to Jordy Nelson stack that went off, and I took down a small tournament. I think it was about $10,000 win.
Nice.
And from there, I was hooked. I mean, I was like, okay, this is real. You can make real money doing this. So then in 17, obviously, I still had the full-time job, which was a pretty taxing job. I mean, I was working probably 50 plus hours a week, and still trying to do this on the side. As baseball came in, I mean, baseball is probably my true passion, my true love. But a lot of times work would keep me past lock and all that. And it's just, so I'd be sitting there on my phone trying to update my lineup at 6 p.m. before I leave the office for the day. And it's just like, I could be doing so much better if I was from 3 to 4, I could be researching what I want to do. And then when lineups come out, I'm there and I can make my updates, and I feel like I could have a lot more success doing this if I was not sitting here at this job that I really don't care much about.
People are calling, they're asking for towels, and you're like, give me a minute. Anthony Davis is just scratched. Leave me alone. I got to make my lineups. Yeah.
Correct.
Don't you understand how important this is? Yeah. But that's, I mean, no matter how much money you're making, and it sounds like you were doing well. You had a great, general manager, I believe you said, if you didn't have the passion to do it, like, it's not worth it. That was basically the way you looked at it. And obviously you have passion for DFS, and that's probably a tough life choice to make. Valuing just enjoyment of life versus money and that kind of thing, but it doesn't sound like you have any regrets, at least.
Yeah, it was definitely a difficult decision. As you said, just the financial stability was there, and at that point in my DFS career, I mean, I was making money every year, but yeah, definitely not what I was making in my hotel career. So yeah, it was absolutely a tough decision, but I figured this is the time to do it if I'm going to try it. The good thing about hotels is once you know the business and once you're in the business, you have so many contacts and a great network. You can go back. So I knew that if I took a break and it wasn't going to work out, that I would be able to go back and manage another hotel. But yeah, just decided to take the risk and to really dive in, and definitely don't feel like I'm going to look back, and I definitely don't have any regrets to this point.
Did family members try to talk you out of it? Because like, hey, what about stability, man? Or friends?
Yeah, at first I would say definitely. They understood how much I was passionate about sports, and I mean, ever since I was a little kid, that's all I've been into, and it's been what I'm all about for as long as they've known me, and so they understood why I thought it might be a good idea, or why I was interested in doing it. But yeah, definite reservations about, what if it doesn't work out, or what if you lose money? Like, how are you going to survive? How are you going to live? Pay the bills, So yeah, there were those concerns, but
keep the basement available just in case if things go
that's
wrong
right.
direction.
Yeah.
So tell me this, how you're in the hotel business. You were in the hotel business, and you probably know it, front to back. How do I get an upgrade? Like, what's the best way to go about if I'm checking into a hotel? Give me a tip on how to get like an upgrade to the suite, get a jacuzzi, get a nice view. Well, what's the move?
Well, if you have status, that helps. So if you're an Elite Rewards member, you're gonna get that request honored more than if you're just some Joe off the street.
What if I'm some Joe off the street? Do I have any shot?
Just ask. Yeah, I mean, if it's available, a lot of times so the suites and things like that are often used as comp upgrades much more than they're sold at retail price. So yeah, just ask. All they can do is say no.
Yeah, worst case scenario. And is it insulting to offer money? Is that encouraged? I know in Vegas, that's like, so I guess it depends upon where you're at, I suppose, right? But
yeah, so in the Dallas market or the Norman, Oklahoma market, that's really not something I encountered. I was also in a more limited service hotel, so
okay.
our suites, they didn't have jacuzzis or anything like that.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So I grew up in like Courtyard Marriott. I worked for Hyatt Place hotels for a long time. So smaller hotels that our suites aren't really that much. It's not like a penthouse suite or anything like that.
I'll be traveling later in this week. I'm just looking for tips. That's I don't know. This is my own selfish reasons for asking that question. I'm sure somebody can get something out of it as well. So you had that one hit with Aaron Rodgers and Jordy Nelson. I guess you had several more before you finally said, hey, this is going to be my life going forward. Did you have a big hit, and take us through that sweat, even bigger than the 10K?
Yeah. 17, I was basically just playing on the side, still trying to learn as much as I could about the industry. Even in 18, I can't recall anything much more significant than 10K. The beginning of 18 anyway. Yeah. I took down a couple baseball tournaments in the summer of 18, $20,000-$30,000 hits probably. I don't remember anything specific around the sweat or anything like that.
You were busy working probably, or maybe not 18 so much, but
yeah, I had just quit, so just getting started in it. But yeah, the first, I'm trying to think when this was. This would have been football last year, week one. I took a absolute horrible beat. It was the Monday night slate of week one, so a 2-game slate.
Oh, that's right.
And it was Oakland and Denver, and I can't remember who the other team was, but obviously a much higher Vegas projection, a much higher total. But I was heavy on Oakland, and Jacobs a lot of people felt like he was overhyped and he wasn't going to do anything. And Denver obviously has a great defense. I believe the game was in Denver, and playing in Denver early in the year is never looked good upon. I had a very low owned Oakland stack. It was Carr, Jacobs, and I believe Waller. I didn't have Tyrell Williams. And then I can't even remember who the other game was at this point.
Somewhere on the East Coast, I would assume, but yeah. I don't recall.
Anyway, Oakland was winning the game and doing so handily, and I was up at the top, was leading for pretty much since the Oakland Denver game was the second game of the night, obviously being on the West Coast. Was in first place from pretty much halftime of that game, and Oakland was up pretty big. and I'm winning I think it was a $15 tournament or whatever, for 250K up top from halftime through fourth quarter, and it's getting later. I'm like, all right, this, like, we're getting there. The sweat starts to build.
Are you looking at your phone? Are you somebody who looks like at all times currently winning? Or you
for NFL? For NFL, yeah, absolutely. I'm sweating it constantly.
Yeah.
But anyway, I had Cortland Sutton on the other side of that Oakland stack, and he scores a very late fourth quarter touchdown. And I'm like, okay, this, it's on ice. I think I have a 4-point lead at this point. And they're kicking the ball back to Oakland. I have Jacobs. We're going to run out the clock. There's like a minute, 30 seconds left or something like that. Denver does have all 3 timeouts. But I'm like, all right, 3 handoffs to Jacobs, punt it away. We're good. I get the first 2 handoffs. He doesn't get anything. It's third down. I'm like, all right, probably going to hand it off to Jake. It was 3rd and 4. So like it wasn't a very long third down. I'm like, all right, just hand it off and punt it, and then Denver can try to do what they will with the last 40 seconds or whatever. And on third down, they decide to go play action pass. Or no, it was a screen pass, actually. It was a screen pass to Tyrell Williams.
Wide receiver screen.
On 3rd and 3. And he picks up the first down, gains 4 yards, and in the process crosses the 100-yard bonus.
Until he gets it.
Yeah, so he gets the point for the reception, 3 for the bonus, and then he gained like 6 yards.
So what did you tumble to from 250 to what?
From 250 to 40K.
Yeah, which is like really good still, but
yeah.
You're still a little bitter about it. It's weird to feel angry about winning 40K. Like,
absolutely. I mean, I'm texting my brother. I'm like, I just won 40K, but I should have won 250. So yeah, it was brutal.
Yeah, it's an odd set of emotions, and like, world's smallest violin is playing for you for winning 40K, but you sim it out 100 times and that last drive and yada yada yada. But hey, you're on your way. How do you build lineups? Are you more of a contrarian guy? Are you more of a chalky guy? Do you find yourself leaning one way or the other, or it depends upon what games are being played?
Yeah, I think I tend to, just from a personality standpoint, I tend to lean more chalky. Like I stand behind the math, and I'm like, this is too good of a play not to play. Since I've been able to kind of step out from behind that, that's when I've had more GPP success, obviously. But yeah, just from an overall mindset standpoint, I tend to be probably more chalky than I should be. And it's something that really in the last year or two, I've learned that, to just get away from what you think is the best play sometimes and really just step out on a ledge and say, this could happen and put a percentage on that. And then whatever you think that percentage is, well, that's what percentage of my lineups I want with that stack or that player.
After winning something like 40K, do you have some kind of extravagant purchase, or you're thinking just sort of like long term and you're not splurging in anything necessarily?
Yeah, I mean, at that point, it was, I'm going to try to do this for a living as a main source of income. So that was kind of like, I need to try to, make my salary what I made last year. So let's put that away on the side and see what else we can do. Fortunately, later in that football season, I did end up with probably, I think it's my biggest hit. Yeah, definitely my biggest hit of the year.
What was that? Tell me that.
Week 5. It was the week that the Blitz Optimal absolutely went nuts.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
I finished I threw the Optimal in the Millie Maker. I think it finished 24th or something like that in the Millie Maker.
Yeah.
But I did have a different lineup that ended up winning the slant that day, the $9 slant. I believe it was for 100K. It was everybody on the world was on Watson and Fuller, I believe, and they went absolutely bananas.
Mm-hmm.
I had a Dak to Amari stack that got there very late, and then Aaron Rodgers, or not Rodgers, Aaron Jones was the other side of that. He had 4 TDs, so yeah, Dak to Amari with Jones on the other side with 4 touchdowns. So
Piece of advice you'd give your like 2020 you would tell 2016 you as far as like DFS in general. Something like you would love to know 6 years ago. Well, it's bad math. 4 years ago. Like maybe something goofy you were doing that like you figured out like, hey, this is a terrible strategy.
Stacking. I mean, I that's how new. I mean, just you have to correlate your lineups. 100% correlation is the way that will get you to the top of a tournament.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just the way it's set up, the way the scoring system set up, and specific to football, specific to baseball. Not necessarily so much in basketball. Sometimes if the game goes to overtime, then it's good times. But I don't know. At least that's my perception. I don't think you have to stack in basketball. Do you? Like it helps.
No,
like
no,
240 total, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't think so.
You said you grew up 100 miles outside of Illinois, I believe. Are you a Chicago fan, like generally, or what? But what are your teams?
Outside of Chicago, so Midwest, Northern Illinois. Yeah, definitely huge Cubs fan, huge Bears fan, Bulls fan. Absolutely.
Is that what I'm seeing? I'm seeing a hat with a C on it. Is that the Cubs or the Bears? What am I looking at?
Yeah, that's a Cubs hat.
There you go. Take me to your favorite live moment. Watching, I assume you go to the game sometimes. Favorite thing to watch live? Yeah. Any memory kind of stick in your head?
Yeah, actually, it was at Busch Stadium. It was a grand slam very late in the game, and the Cubs fans were rocking Busch. I believe it was Michael Barrett that hit the home run. So this was probably 2000, wow. 2006, 2007. I think the
story, Michael Barrett, for sure. Yeah. Can you confirm, by the way, you've been to Busch Stadium, and of course, the Cubs and the Cardinals, big rivals. Can you confirm that those are, in fact, the greatest fans in the world in St. Louis?
Oh, man.
Seeing them live and in person, like, what do they do that's so great?
Yeah, I didn't see what was so great about them.
Were they welcoming you? Were you wearing Cubs garb?
Of course, yeah, decked out to the nines and Cubs, but yeah, they're not, violent or mean or anything like that. But yeah, best fans, no.
It's just funny that it's a weird thing to like put
that they claim that. Yeah,
they just claim to be the best friends in the world. I don't know who's like who's calling BS on it, but it's just sort of it's a weird thing to claim, and they kind of latch on to. So you've been to Wrigley, I assume, right?
Yeah, hundreds of times. Yeah.
Where's the place? You got to sit in the bleachers? Is that the spot to go?
Yeah, I would say if you're going one time, that's where I would say, yeah. Just, I mean, it's a different atmosphere than anywhere I've been in sports. It's just a ton of fun.
How do you do it up? Are you supposed to go like, was it Wrigleyville and like Carey's that it's right around the stadium? You got to hit those places before the game. Like, I'm only going there one time. What's the plan? What do I do?
Yeah, I would definitely go early. I mean, you have to be around the stadium and absorbing the whole neighborhood. It's just an incredible experience. I would start on Clark Street and just go up and down Clark Street to kind of pregame a little bit. Right before you go in the game, if you're sitting in the bleachers, Murphy's out in the bleachers is a great spot to hit up before the game. But yeah, definitely do the whole neighborhood scene before the game, because there's nothing else like it in sports.
Your favorite Cub of all time?
Favorite Cub of all time?
Is that too hard?
That's hard.
Give me like the power rankings. Give me who's in the Family Feud board.
Kerry Wood is up there for sure, just because of what he did in '98 with the 20 strikeouts. I mean, he gave us hope for the first time in a long time. Going back a little further, like my younger days, it was probably Mark Grace. I was also a Girardi fan back in those days, believe it or not.
He was the catcher for the Cubs?
Catcher. Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't say he's on the board, but Wood and Grace would be up there. Pryor was there. An unfortunate turn of events in that career.
Is Dusty Baker on the board, or you're mad at Dusty Baker?
Yeah, not a huge Dusty fan.
Oh, fans hate Dusty Baker. You guys blame him so much. Who do you dislike more, Dusty Baker or Bartman?
Dusty.
Do you forgive Bartman?
Yeah, I mean, I put myself in that situation. I don't know that in that moment, probably a couple beverages deep, that I would have had the awareness to pull my hands in so Moises could try to make a leaping catch over the foul left field wall. Like, yeah, I don't blame Bartman.
Yeah, it's
But
pretty silly.
talk about crushing defeats. Yeah, 0-3 was not a high time.
Yeah, I don't mean a victory lap, but the Marlins fan here. I was a one-time Marlins fan. I've since disowned them. We're no longer going out. It's an ugly breakup. But at the time, I was a big Marlins fan. So, that was a lot of fun. And that wasn't even Game 7. That was Game 6, wasn't it? I believe it was Game 6.
It was Game 6.
And your boy Kerry Wood hit a 3-run homer, I believe, in Game 7. I remember correctly.
He did, and I thought we were still okay, and it didn't turn out to be so.
Well, you guys got there eventually soon enough against who'd you guys beat in the World Series? It's
Cleveland.
There you go. All right, we have that in common too. As the Marlins beat Cleveland in '97. Good times for sure. How about the Bulls? I mean, I'm assuming Jordan's your guy. That's the perfect age. He's your wheelhouse guy.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, you can't grow up near Chicago in the '90s and not live and breathe Jordan.
Did you go check out any games? Did you get a chance to watch him play when you're younger?
When I was younger, not a lot. I believe I went once or twice. Never sat very close or had great seats or anything.
The current Bulls, are we excited about this regime?
I'm not a huge NBA fan.
Okay.
I follow them a little bit, but I think it was way past time for a front office change. So excited about what they're doing there. But yeah, just haven't even really followed it closely since probably the Rose days.
What's the nicest thing you could say about Mitch Trubisky?
I guess there's hope. The pedigree, the measurables, all that is there. He can move. He's got an arm. I hope he figures it out. He's got us in an awkward position now that we've declined the option. So I think he's got about 2-3 games to figure it out, and then it's going to be the full show from there if it doesn't happen.
Yeah, you don't sound bullish. You sound more bearish, if I'm hearing you correctly.
I have hope. So I would like to see him figure it out. Obviously, with the capital that we've invested in him, number 2 overall pick after moving up in the draft. For the front office, I think they're really hoping that he figures it out too. So maybe the leash is longer than 2 or 3 games, but just from what's being said around the media and all of that, it doesn't sound like. I mean, a lot of people are saying that Foles is going to start from the get-go. I don't see that happening just because of the capital that they have invested in Trubisky. They really want it to work out.
Yeah, I think so. And, like you said, the pedigree as well, too. And Foles, I don't want to say he's a one-hit wonder or a 3-hit wonder, or however you want to phrase it. But, I mean, he basically hit – I think he already hit his upside,
Yeah.
Perfectly fine backup, I suppose. You said you're in Oklahoma now?
I am, yep.
What's it like living in Oklahoma? I don't think I've driven through. I've never really been.
Well, I'm in Norman, where the University of Oklahoma is. So I've been treated to some great quarterback play here in the last couple of years. I got to go see Baker and Kyler Murray play. I did not make a Hurts game last year, but definitely saw those two up and comers.
What's it like tailgating before a game in Oklahoma? I'm assuming you're tailgating.
Yeah. It's typical. I wouldn't say it's, a top level experience to some of the other. I mean, I've been to Notre Dame and University of Texas games. I would put those probably slightly higher, but it's a good scene.
Are you rooting for Notre Dame, or it's like a neutral site? You just want to go check out the game because it's Notre Dame, or what brings you there?
Yeah, I mean, just close to where I grew up. It was actually my first boss had season tickets to Notre Dame and invited me out for a weekend. So that was a good time.
Yeah, that works out pretty good.
Yeah.
A couple of your favorites thing. We talk about how about your favorite? I guess your favorite Cubby. Is your favorite Cubby your favorite athlete as well? Do you have one?
Yeah, I mean, current favorite athlete, probably Javi Baez or Chris Bryant.
Yeah.
Huge Bears fan too, so I really want Trubisky to get there, but like you said, I'm a little bit bearish. A big fan of the defense, obviously, loving what Mac and the boys do. I think they made some nice upgrades. The pass rush should be insane with the addition of Quinn this year. So definitely looking forward to the Bears defense and what they can do. As far as athletes outside of who I have a rooting interest in,
whoever made you money in DFS that night.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
I know some guys when they have a big hit, they like to buy the jersey of the guy that's like his whoever crushed that evening for whatever reason. But yeah, I have no loyalties either. Like for the most part, like whoever hooks me up that night, you're my guy. You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
So how that works. Favorite movie?
Not a huge movie guy. I mean, I watch movies obviously, but I'm not like a passionate fan or anything.
You got a TV show?
Yeah, no. I mean, when my TV's on, it's sports usually.
Okay.
If I mean, like, huge into like Dark Knight was a great movie.
Oh yeah.
I mean, just the performance from Heath Ledger was incredible. Like a comedy, like Wedding Crashers or Old School, I would say would
all right
kind of be my lane.
Fun, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty solid. That'll resonate with the people for sure. What else do I have here as far as my list and your favorites? Wait, in Oklahoma, you barbecue a lot, right? Isn't that a thing?
Yeah. No, I live in an apartment, so it's tough to get out and do a lot of that. But
have you been able to get out much in Oklahoma? I mean, I'm everything state by state. What are they doing right now as far as the regulations? Can you wander out much?
Yeah, I mean, you're pretty free to do whatever now. Restaurants are still closed and things like that, but I would say, in perspective of like the country, Oklahoma didn't have it too bad, and really see things opening up pretty soon.
All right. I'm going to have you tell the people what your Twitter account is, your new Twitter account, because I don't know how many followers you have. I think, again, we're pretty sure you're at 0 tweets, which I enjoyed. I'll become a follower. I'll follow you in a second. But
thanks,
tell the people, sure thing. Tell the people what your Twitter account is. And again, reiterate, you'll be doing content here for RG. We're not exactly sure what, if it's going to be written, if it's going to be video, if it's going to be audio. But you're on the RG team, if nothing else. And anything else you want to tell the people, feel free to get it out there and tell the world. And, this is your big welcome party.
Thank you. Yeah, so you can follow me at Eyss819 DFS, Eys819 DFS. Yeah, like I said, have never been active on Twitter. I did have an account previously where I followed everybody just for information and all that. But with this new step, I figured I mean, I literally have never sent a tweet. So that's not incorrect, even with the old account.
Do you feel the pressure to make it good? Or it's just, hello, hi, Twitter?
Yeah, no. It'll still be primarily for information. But yeah, just decided to create something new and start over with this new step with RotoGrinders, and didn't have much of a following anyway before this, so let's start fresh.
We're getting played off by a lawnmower or something in the background. I'm not sure if that's on my end or your end. Can you hear a lawnmower of some sort?
I think they're doing some yard work outside there.
That's telling us we got to wrap up, I believe. Keith, that's Keith Eyster. I much appreciate your time. Again, welcome to RotoGrinders. Look forward to your content here. Thank you, everybody out there, for listening in the morning grind. That was Keith. I was Dean. We're out of here. Over.